my dear friends, my name is Irene and I'm here to share the latest official HMBIA news and insights with you, my beloved HMB community. The days are growing longer, the sun is shining brighter and that long since faded summer tan is ready to emerge once again. That being said, always be safe, keep social distance, wash your hands and wear sunscreen. You finally made it through those long, dark, post-Christmas winter months just to find yourself stuck inside for most of spring. Finally, it's time to bring on summer. Usually for us it means the start of the summer festival season and tournaments almost every weekend. Actually, last July we had 11 Buhurt League tournaments. 11! Just like in 1 month. 5 tournaments in 1 weekend. I do miss those days. But now countries around the world are in a state of lockdown to help limit the spread of the coronavirus. However, as the number of the new daily confirmed cases begins to decrease, governments must decide how to release their populations from quarantine as efficiently as possible without overwhelming their health services. Ending quarantine for the entire population simultaneously is a high-risk strategy. That is why a gradual reintegration approach seems to be more reliable. But for us it still means no tournaments in the near future. In that unequal battle, we lost all events in June and July and said goodbye to the planned tournaments in the United Kingdom, Denmark, Ukraine and Romania. But we have hopes for the tournaments postponed till August in Russia, Serbia and Ukraine. Don't forget to subscribe to our official HMBIA and Buhurt League pages on Facebook. We'll keep you up to date. The charity event Warriors Blood Social Action, where all the representatives of the HMB community of the country can take part, was initiated in Brazil. According to the organizers, under difficult quarantine conditions, there is not enough plasma in the blood banks all over the country to save lives of those who need an urgent blood transfusion. As part of the HMB campaign, Brazilian athletes are called on to donate blood for the country's blood banks. We appreciate the representatives of Brazil for such an initiative. The desire to help in all possible ways is a real chivalrous approach. We are confident that HMB athletes around the world will support their brothers and sisters from Brazil and maybe even follow such initiatives in their countries. We also want to thank our amazing community members who are HMB fighters by vocation, but doctors and nurses by occupation, who actually fight for the lives of the others. And thanks to all our still brothers and sisters who help the world these days in this or that way. You're real heroes. While the lockdown is challenging for many, it has been about picking up a new hobby or a skill or going back to something they were missing for long. One of the greatest revelations became the lightweight, well-known fighter Max Young, who started his own YouTube channel dedicated to the HMB sport with a lot of useful advice from an experienced fighter's perspective. Definitely must see. Different challenges took social media by storm and let us see HMB athletes in a new light. Hashtag challenges unite a large part of social media content eclectic ecosystem. Users record themselves, attempting to perform a challenge, and often challenge others to do the same. Well, if you want to shake things up a little, might we suggest you something fashion-related? Outfit change challenge sounds a bit girly, but what if HMB girls are handling things? Finnish team Kivuttaret managed to amaze their friends and followers with a memorable fashion transformation into shield maidens in armor. Another great example is the French team Diaz Ira, who couldn't also fail to mention their nation's passion for wine. Ladies, you're stunning! But of course, the absolute winner is the viral video of the CUC challenge. This rolling fight montage comes from the French campus Universe Cascade, which is a professional training center dedicated to stunt techniques for cinema and public shows. The challenge features a collection of stunt men and stunt women performing in isolation to create a long, continuous fight. It became so freaking popular under the non-official tagline "Fight Corona," and our HMB fighters could not bear to keep away. Their own version of the video challenge created fighters of the national federations of China, Serbia, Brazil, and the Good One compilation was also presented by the WMFC League. Watch them all, but don't try this at home. Well, who are we kidding? New technical requirements for belt numbers were uploaded on the official HMBIA website. This great step towards the sport was approved after the successful implementation at the Buhut Prime Tournament in Monaco last February and at the Recon Tournament in St. Petersburg in March. The belt number is a small flag with Western numerals attached to the fighter's belt on the back. That will help commentators, viewers, and marshals to identify fighters even in the middle of combat. In the document, you can find specified measurements, allowed decorative elements, recommended fonts and colors. Such belt numbers will be mandatory for Masters tournament this year and have to be provided by the organization team. The same situation is valid for Buhut Next and Buhut Prime tournaments. Starting next year, teams willing to participate in the tournaments with Masters and Open class are supposed to have their own belt numbers, made in compliance with the technical requirements. And from 2022, belt numbers will be mandatory for all HMB tournaments. One more important announcement from the Authenticity Committee. Given global economic difficulties caused by the pandemic, now it is more important than ever to meet our athletes halfway. That is why all the new authenticity requirements effective dates that were announced at the General Assembly in December were rescheduled until the Battle of the Nations 2021. You have a lot of time to study all the documents and technical requirements already published on our official pages. But I beg you, don't put it off until the last minute. The host city race is in progress. However, the work of the HMBIA officials is complicated by the need to follow the sweeping measures to contain the spread of the coronavirus. One of the most important steps to make a decision is the HMBIA representatives' personal venue examinations. And we can just wait till the moment trips become possible again. Last time I presented to you the countries that applied for hosting the next World Championship. This time, let's learn more about the venues that are still in the race. Serbia, Petrovaradin Fortress. Petrovaradin Fortress is the most important historical building in Novi Sad, the second largest city in Serbia, which sits high along the banks of the Danube River. Its unique vantage point provides great views of the river, bridges crossing it, the main part of the city, and the surroundings of the fort itself. By the way, Novi Sad was proclaimed in Brussels the European Capital of Culture for the year 2021. Romania, Oradea Fortress. Oradea is a treasure of a city in northwestern Romania, located near the Hungarian border. Not only does the city shine at its former glory thanks to the excellent restoration works, but it also hosts a multitude of cultural elements and becomes alive through the various cultural events. Through the centuries, Oradea was the target of different powers, and the fort was veiled with a series of different legends. Italy, Valentino Park of Turin. Located next to the River Po, the park is Turin's largest green space, but it is much more than just a conventional park. When you visit Parco Valentino, make sure that you have enough time to see everything that Castle of Valentino has to offer, which is, by the way, included in the list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. You can visit the enchanting medieval village, which is a much-loved favorite for the local population to visit, as well as a fascinating lesson in the Italian history. France, Fort de Rousse. Located in the center of the Haute-Ural National Park at an altitude of 1,150 meters, Fort de Rousse is the second biggest fortress in France. Fort de Rousse hosts 50,000 square meters of vaulted rooms and kilometers of underground galleries. At the time of completion, it could hold 2,500 men and 2,000 horses. Switzerland, Nidau Castle. A castle in the municipality of Nidau of Canton of Bern is a Swiss heritage site of national significance. The first stone castle was built in the early 13th century and since that time was renovated many times. Interesting to mention that it used to have a moat, but with the water correction projects of 1868, the water level in the river and Lake Biel dropped, and the castle was no longer surrounded by water. Turkey, Yedikule Fortress. Yedikule Fortress, or Yedikule Hisari in Turkish, which means Fortress of Seven Towers, is a fortified historic structure in Istanbul. The fortress came to be known as the home of a formidable royal dungeon that housed notable figures throughout its history, and the associated intrigue captured the public's imagination over the centuries in various legends, stories, and the arts. Russia, Vyborg Castle. Vyborg Castle is a fortress located on a little island in the town of Vyborg in the north of the Russian Federation, close to the Finland border. Vyborg's fine 13th century castle is worth visiting for the views from its tower and is always bustling with activity, particularly with recreations of medieval battles and the like. It's a legendary venue which is considered to be the cradle of the reenactment movement in Russia and, what is more important, famous Buhut battles. Apart from being a unique sport in terms of competition, HMB is the only existing full-contact sport which has a mass battle, where many participants fight at once, and Vyborg Castle witnessed them, even before the Battle of the Nations. Russia, Peter and Paul Fortress. The Peter and Paul Fortress, the oldest architectural monument of St. Petersburg, embodies the rich history of the city located on the Neva. This is actually a first Capitol building in St. Petersburg, a beautiful fortress designed to protect the future city from naval intrusions. It holds several museums, including Money Museum, Torture Chamber, and Prison Museum, and lots of other attractions. The cathedral of the fortress has tombs of Russian kings. As we can see, every venue has its own proud history, and we can't wait to bring the glory of the Battle of the Nations to one of them. Our memory marathon, codenamed Battle of the Nations Total Recall, has come to an end. This May has indeed become the genuine month of the Battle of the Nations. Every day we enjoyed reading stories about the first Battle of the Nations experience with different national team representatives. More than 40 catchy stories that can be easily turned into a book. And every day, the Battle of the Nations Facebook page cover was dedicated to a different country. Thanks to the live streams with our irreplaceable Gavin Stewart on the Battle of the Nations YouTube channel, we recalled so many great memories and moments of the best possible event in the life of every fighter, with true legends of the HMB sport. Pavel Kurzak, Ilya Dragan, Felipe Canabrava, Jonas Freze, Bryce Lightbody, Matthias Soyborg, Artyom Savanovich, Brad Shivey, Artyom Beregovoy, Alexander Dobry-Uroshevich, Adam Uivari, Joe Booth, and Lily Nelson-Me. And special editions for our Russian-speaking audience with Dmitry Kunchenko, Alexei Naderov, Artyom Vasilyev, Evgeny Rene, Evgeny Jackson, and Evgeny Baranov. That was a really great time. Also, we decided to let HMB lovers and fans step to the front and join the Virtual Fan Challenge as part of the Memory Marathon and find out the most active national fan community. And as a basis for the voting, we decided to take women's 5 vs 5 ladder from the previous Battle of the Nations 2019. After several stages of voting, Serbia and France met in the grand final that ended in an overwhelming victory for the French HMB community with 2,100 votes against 995 for Serbia. No wonder the French Federation got the HMBIA Season Award for the best work with media at the reception before Buhut Prime Tournament in Monaco last February. Amazing! For this month, more than 700 new followers joined us on Facebook and more than 1,000 on Instagram. By the way, don't forget to follow us on social networks. You can find all the necessary links here in the description field of this video. Alright, I guess it's better to finish up. We try to bring you the latest HMB news from across the globe. But what we want to hear about are the things that matter to you. Do you have a local story you would like to share with the HMB international community? Don't hesitate to contact us and discuss all the details. We do our best to show the world the uniqueness of you, the HMB movement and community that cannot be compared to anything. And now I'll say goodbye. Take care.